G'day.
My name's Jim, I'm a maker from South Australia. In this series of videos, I've been building a workshop out of junk that I found at the side of the road. I stumbled on this motherload of melamine at the side of the road and thought I could rebuild the workshop cabinets for my mitre saw station out of it. The plan was to repurpose the existing mitre saw station and materials as well. People in the community got in touch and gave me their melamine too. All my salvaged and reclaimed materials, I made these cabinets for drawers. And those ones. After a few weeks of toil with reclaimed materials and building in pocket holes and drawers, I got them looking like this. And after being back at work for a couple of months, eventually I got it looking like this, which is where we pick up from today's episode.
Couple of problems to start off with. It's always a good way to start a video with a couple of problems. Number one is that in a flurry of end of term mania, I've left the actual tripod for this camera at work where I was filming the Maker's Empire entry video. Which means this is the tripod that I've got to use. Luckily they never say anything about the size not mattering or anything, do they? The challenge for this video is to wrap up this mitre saw storage solution station by putting a groove for some T-track in here, and I can use a stop block. I can actually use my mitre saw again as a mitre saw. How should I cut the groove in it? Should I go get a router and a straight edge? Or do I just put it over the table saw? I'm just going to mark. I've got obviously the front line for this. I just want to give myself a little guide mark for the back, and I can figure out the best way to do this. I could set my table saw to that height, score it both sides of the line, and then maybe use the router to cut out the middle. No, I don't want to stuff this up because I don't have another piece of this the right size. This was a lot of work. This is the final part. You want to see the end of this video, the end of the series.
I did some careful measuring so I knew where to set my table saw fence to make my cuts. Lifting this off in one piece was oddly satisfying.
There's a thing that you might not see every day. Here's all the drawers on their drawer slides. It's kind of cool. I made little router bit holders just by drilling holes in some scrap, and I've got extra pieces cut the right size. I'll just leave in there for when I need to make my next set.
I very carefully calibrated the distance from the blade to the fence to match up with my measurement, allowing for the kerf of the blade as well, because I didn't want to have it 3mm on the wrong side of the line, and that is a very me thing that would happen. Then nothing to it but to do it. Let's get to ripping this groove down. Let's get into the groove, and that's probably a copyright thing, isn't it? Let's just cut the groove and see what happens.
That's pretty good.
T-track chiseling is now born. You're welcome, world. This is now the point where I realised the T-track I bought on AliExpress had holes drilled in it, and the T-track that I paid a lot more from Carbotech did not, and I'd need to figure out a way to drill some holes in it. Lucky I'm a maker, and that's kind of what I do. I use my extra fancy drill press table fence and a block and a really small drill bit to drill through the back of my T-track, and then I would drill a counterbore on the front, which was a little bit more difficult than I gave myself credit for, but there we go.
Been through my screw assortment, and I found some of the leftovers from when I was installing drawer slides that I hope will be the right length. I think these little screws will be perfect in there. Hopefully there'll still be enough meat left in the bottom of the slot, otherwise I'll just clip the end of the screws off. And I just realised, if I was smart, if I'd have put the screw holes where those dividers were, then I wouldn't have had to worry about the length of the screws. It's my pace to be smart about. Never mind.
I made sure to check that the drawers would still open, and I also double checked my fitment with my 3D printed stop block to see if I could find some bolts the right size to fit in the T-track, which proved to be a little bit harder than I first thought. It turns out my combination belt and disc sander, that I now affectionately call Sparky, was the best method I could find of making some bolts that would fit. And thank you to Vuli, who sent us these bolts as replacements for the basketball hoop.
I need to cut a piece down to fit in there. If only there was a tool made exactly for that job. Now that one's done. I'll do that one.
While you're watching me go through the high-speed version of repeating the same process you've just watched me do in detail, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the supporters of this channel, like my wife and my mum and all the people that I work with, and James Finger. Thank you very much, James. If you would like to be in such illustrious company, please click that subscribe button, like and share the videos, and help get this channel out there.
There we go, we're all done. Router bits, measuring and marking stuff, pens and pencils and other bits and bobs there, Forstner bits, drill bits, screwdriver and step bits. I fit all this storage into the wings of my mitre saw station, and I'm absolutely stoked. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you find junk at the side of the road, turn it into something.